Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Sunday. We're one day away from Arsenal returning to Premier League action against Newcastle at the Emirates. I'll speak a little bit about that match during this video, but I've got to start with the big news about Mesut Ozil. Obviously, I'm sure you're all very much aware of the developments yesterday and the fact that Mesut Ozil now is very, very close to leaving Arsenal and heading to Turkey to join Fenerbahce. So I thought I'd just run you through the sort of latest of that, where we all are. Look a little bit about what it means for Arsenal, the fact that they're going to be getting rid of their highest wage earner. And then, talking about other things, Tierney, team news, predicted 11, that sort of thing throughout the video. So, right, let's get started on Mesut Ozil. So, what we know at the moment is that Arsenal have come to an agreement with Mesut. There have been talks for weeks to try and come to this agreement to cancel his contract early, and an agreement has been reached in principal sources confirming to me at Arsenal yesterday. David Ornstein, Athletic, exclusively broke the story in the morning, as David often does. What a man. It's Arsenal have confirmed that they have reached an agreement in principle with Mesut, and sources believing this is very much on track to happen in the near future. Now, we saw Mesut Ozil was at the Emirates yesterday. He posted a picture on his Instagram story, actually. Underneath a poster of Sead Kolasinac, was a little message he sent to Kolasinac. And I don't think it takes a genius to work out what he was doing there, some sort of goodbye. He is due to fly to Turkey today, I believe. Will be saying his goodbyes at the training ground, that sort of thing, packing up, getting ready and heading off to Turkey before an official announcement comes. We've seen the flirting on Twitter yesterday. Fenerbahce tweeting a picture of the little hourglass, Mesut Ozil doing it. He's changed his picture of his symbol from red and white to yellow and blue, or yellow and black, whatever it is. And, it's happening. We know it's happening. And so they're the big developments that have happened with Mesut. Now it's just a case of waiting until the announcements come, whether it'll be just a straight announcement saying he's joined Fenerbahce, or whether there'll be an announcement saying Arsenal cancelled his contract, and then later on there'll be an announcement from Fenerbahce, perhaps not even Arsenal, saying he has moved to them because he's a free agent, so he can do whatever he wants to do as soon as that contract is cancelled. Look, it brings to an end what is, I don't know, how do you describe the Mesut Ozil era at Arsenal? It's a tough one. He's such a divisive figure. He really is. You've got people absolutely worship him. You've got people who dislike him immensely now, certainly after the last couple of years of what's gone on. I just think it needed to end. It needed to end. It's been a sad end to what initially was a very, very good start, an enjoyable start to life at Arsenal. And it's basically been a tale of two separate stories, hasn't it? You've had the first contract, you've had the second contract. The first contract on the whole was good, although there were certainly some disappointing moments, and the second contract was an unmitigated disaster for whatever reason, and it just had to end. Whatever way, even if you're feeling sad about it, if you're feeling happy about it, I think we can all agree that it had to end, because what had been a marriage made in heaven for some had turned into a very, very messy divorce, and it couldn't be allowed to continue. It wasn't helping anyone. It wasn't helping Arsenal. It wasn't helping Mikel Arteta. It certainly wasn't helping Mesut Ozil, because he was sitting on his backside not playing any football, which, why do you want to do that when you're 32-year-olds and you're coming towards the end of your career? So he had to go out for the sake of his career. Arsenal had to get him out for the sake of their bank balance and for the sake of Mikel Arteta's sanity, because everyone talks about Mesut Ozil, even when he's not in the squad. The focus is on Mesut Ozil because he's such a big name, because he earns such a huge amount of money, that he was always going to be a talking point. Even if he wasn't in the squad, he was going to be a talking point. And that has been the way all season. It's been the way from last season. It was been the way from when Unai Emery's first season in charge, when he was leaving him out all the time. And so it just had to come to an end, and it has come to an end, or is about to come to an end. And I think it will probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Monday that we see the announcement. Possibly it will come sooner. It could even happen today at some point. But I'd imagine certainly by Monday, Fenerbahce would like to get this announced, and Arsenal would certainly like to get it announced that his contract has been cancelled, just so everyone can move on and go their separate ways. It is sad because I've loved Mesut Ozil at Arsenal. I've loved it at times. He's been a joy to watch at times. I think the 2 years, the first year with Sanchez, the second year with Sanchez, they were great. There were some brilliant performances from Ozil. The 2015-16 season was fantastic. The 19 assists, really should have won the title that season. The fact that Arsenal didn't sign anyone that summer, apart from Petr Cech, and not building on the 2 FA Cup wins. You had Ozil in his prime, you had Sanchez in his prime. You had to build on that and go for it. But instead, Arsenal stood still at a time when they should have gone on. And if they had kicked on, they would have won the title that year with those two and another couple of quality additions in the team. And they paid the price. Ultimately, they finished second to Leicester. And, just a decent, a couple more additions that summer. Go out and get another striker, not just rely on Giroud. Possibly get yourself another powerful defensive midfielder. That team could have won the title. The fact that Leicester ran away with it that year in the end, it was a real missed opportunity from Arsenal, and that one I think is a season that's going to kind of sum up Mesut, because he was great and unfortunately Arsenal didn't put the tools around him that they probably should have done to take full advantage of his qualities and to go on and win the title. So what next for Arsenal when it comes to Mesut Ozil leaving? I still don't think it's going to make any initial massive change like this summer. What are we now? We're on the 17th, I think, of January, so we've got a couple of weeks left of the window. They will still, as I've said, look to do something if they can this transfer window in terms of adding to their squad. Whether they do, I'm still not sure, but they're certainly going to try. I think the fact that they've got out Kolasinac was big. The fact they're getting out Ozil's huge. Look, they're still going to be paying Mesut Ozil. He's not going to be walking away and leaving that £7 million that he's still owed for nothing. That Arsenal obviously comes to some sort of an agreement. I don't know the exact financial ins and outs of that. I'm not sure we ever will. But there's certainly been an agreement reached, and that will be costly to Arsenal. They may not have to pay the whole £7 million, but they'll still be having to pay a fair amount of money. And at the moment, Arsenal don't have much money, so it's going to cost them. And I'm still not absolutely sure. They will certainly sign someone this window, but they will try. But it's going to help them in the long term, just because it's going to ease that pressure. It's going to end the story that has been Mesut Ozil, which has been dominating things and casting a cloud over the club for a long, long time. So when you look back to the game against Crystal Palace on Thursday night, Smith Rowe didn't have the best of games. He wasn't involved. He couldn't get Arsenal couldn't get him the ball enough. And immediately when that happens, he suddenly starts getting criticised, which I think is ridiculously harsh, because he's such a young kid. He's made such a big impact in a short space of time since he's come into the team. But as soon as there's one game where you're pretty quiet, when you're not getting much of the ball, suddenly people start saying, oh, he's not good enough, Arsenal need to buy someone else. But which perhaps is true, but it's an example of maybe you need to bring someone in to help ease the pressure on Smith Rowe and ease the burden. But I don't want to see them just bring in someone for the sake of it, and then suddenly Smith Rowe finds himself out of the team, and the progress that he's made suddenly comes to a complete abrupt halt, and his development gets harmed. So it's a tough one for Arsenal. I still think a loan is the most likely option if they do go out and do something between now and the end of the window. Certainly looking at a goalkeeper as well, fixing that issue. So I think those are the two options we've had. I think the focus has always been on getting people out. They've started to get people out. Now Ozil's huge to do that, and then they will start to focus on getting people in between now and the end of the window. Just depends if they can come up with the right player at the right price, at the right loan fee that allows them to do that. And if they do, I'd imagine you're going to see a new goalkeeper arrive and potentially a new attacking midfielder to help share the burden with Emile Smith Rowe. So, back in action tomorrow night against Newcastle, and he seems a couple of weeks ago they did play them, and that's exactly because it was in the FA Cup, and that was a long old slog, that one. Fortunately, Arsenal got the better of them in extra time. Could have gone either way. If Newcastle had scored that chance for Andy Carroll right at the end of second half, then it wouldn't even have gone to extra time, and Arsenal would have been out of the FA Cup. So they'll be well aware of what Newcastle are going to bring when they come to the Emirates. They're going to sit deep. They're going to look to play on the counter if they can. They're going to make themselves as hard as they possibly can to break down, and Arsenal are going to have to deal with it. And unfortunately, so far, certainly this season, certainly at the Emirates, they've struggled to deal with those sorts of teams. Only 1 win in 7 in the league for Arsenal at home. That was against Chelsea on Boxing Day. Pretty much every other one of those games, they've come up against a team who have sat back, invited Arsenal to come on and try and break them down, and Arsenal found it almost impossible to do so. So that's what they're going to have to come up with. They're going to have to find a solution to unlock this Newcastle defence. They've got to come out well and play well in the first half, because that's been the thing that's really let Arsenal down this season. They're just horrendously slow starters. If they can come out, play well in the first half, like they did against Chelsea, and get themselves in front, and then it's going to be a much, much easier task to see out and get the 3 points. You feel like they need to get the 3 points. You don't want to suddenly start dropping points again, certainly at home, after going on this nice little run after Christmas. The Palace result, it's not the worst result in the world. Certainly this season, these sort of results are happening all the time. It's very hard to get on a real winning run in the Premier League. It's very stop-start. Even the teams at the top have struggled to do it. Drawing at Palace wasn't the absolutely worst result, but you want to get back on the winning trails as soon as possible, and they've got to find a way to beat Newcastle this weekend. In terms of the injuries, we'll start with Kieran Tierney. Obviously, he went off, he didn't play in the game against Palace, and there was initial fears that it could be a very, very serious injury for Kieran Tierney. Arsenal weren't sure. He was sent for an MRI scan. Now it's the MRI scan results, according to, again, David Ornstein at The Athletic, has proved not as bad as first feared. We will get an update from Arsenal today on the latest team news ahead of that game, which should tell us a little bit more about where Kieran Tierney is. But David reported that there was a chance he could be available for Newcastle. I think you're still going to have to err on the side of caution. If there's any doubt about his fitness, I think you leave Tierney for another game, because he's so important. You don't want to rush him back and then suddenly really aggravate the thigh injury that he had. The calf injury he had, and suddenly you're without him for 3-4 weeks. So I still think you're probably going to err on the side of caution, even if the results of that scan were not as bad as first feared. Other team news for that game, you got Martinelli, obviously you got Thomas Partey back in the mix. Martinelli should be okay, which is going to be a big boost. Again, we've feared when he went down against Newcastle in the FA Cup before that match in the warm-up that he was going to be out for a long time. That's not been the case. He's been training. Arsenal are hopeful to have him available for the game on Monday night. I doubt he'll come straight into the starting 11. If he is available, I imagine he'll be on the bench, but that is still a boost to have him, because Arsenal certainly lack that energy and that drive when he's not in the side. Thomas Partey got his 25 minutes in midweek, which is great news. Probably might look to do that again. I still think you might again err on the side of the caution when it comes to Thomas Partey and leave him out for one more game. I thought Ceballos and Xhaka played well against Crystal Palace. They're Arsenal's best two players, which helps probably in a way of not rushing Thomas back in. You've got to remember, I know we all want him to play. We want him to start making the massive difference in that midfield, but you've just got to ease him in, I think, and not take any risks. So I would imagine he will probably start on the bench, but you know, who knows? Arteta might throw him straight back in because he views him as such an important player. So, but the good news is that he is available, and so is Gabriel Martinelli by all accounts. So that is very, very good news for Arsenal. One player who's not going to make it, Pablo Mari. He's got a calf injury. He obviously missed the game against Palace in midweek. Looks like he'll be out for a while. Mikel Arteta saying he had a calf injury in training. I think he will miss a few matches, so he's another one that we will lose. Bit of a blow that for Arsenal, because Mari was playing so well, looking really, really solid. Certainly a blow for him as well, because I think he warranted that place in the starting 11, and he would have kept it had he not been injured, because you've just been playing too well that you don't take that sort of player out when he's on a good run of form. Him and Holding were playing nicely together, so it's a blow to him. But one positive from Mari is the fact that we did see during that time when he was in the team and on that run of games that he looks like a very, very good defender, and it's probably a very wise piece of transfer business by Arsenal to bring him in. Gabriel is fit, which is a boost, so with Mari out, Gabriel can come in. Didn't play midweek, was left on the bench. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come into the starting 11 tomorrow night. However, it'll be between him and Luiz as that starting left centre-back in the back four. So Arsenal do have options at centre-back, even though Pablo Mari has been injured. Right, let's go for the predicted starting 11, shall we? Remember, this is just me, a predicted one. I'm not by any means saying that this is information that's come to me and this will be the starting 11. It's just what my hunch and what we'll see. And I'll probably be totally wrong, but here we go. I'm going with Bernd Leno in goal, obviously. Back four, I'm going to go Bellerin, Holding, Gabriel and Saka. I think you play Saka at left back if Tierney doesn't make it, because you still provide that real attacking threat down the left-hand side with Saka, and you've just got to hope that someone comes in and takes their opportunity on the right side of the front three. Yes, Saka is one of Arsenal's best players, and it is a shame to move him into defence, but I think what he gives you when he does play at left back is probably worth it, because he still does become a key part of the attacking, this sort of attacking side of things for Arsenal when he plays there. And he's it's natural down that side, unlike with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So I'd say Saka at left back. And I'm going to go with midfield of Xhaka and Ceballos again. Then I'm going to go with my front three behind Alexander Lacazette. I'm going to go with Nicolas Pepe. Going to give him another opportunity, even though he was very poor when he came on as substitute in midweek. Pepe, Smith Rowe, Aubameyang and Lacazette. So that's my predicted 11. Leno, Bellerin, Holding, Gabriel, Saka, Xhaka, Ceballos, Pepe, Smith Rowe, Aubameyang, Lacazette. Right, that's it, everyone. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Appreciate it. As always, do enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll be back from the Emirates tomorrow night, so keep an eye out for that. I'll do my usual videos, or try and do my usual videos, pre-match, team news, reaction and warm-ups live, and then if I get time, player ratings after the game. Thank you for joining me once again, everyone. Please do head over to goal.com for all your Arsenal news, and you can find me on social media. I'm at Charles_Watts on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, and obviously here on YouTube, so hit the subscribe button. Thanks everyone, have a good day.